So we've known for a while that the Trump State Department was planning to lift sanctions on three Russian companies that are controlled or influenced, we can say, by this Russian oligarch and Putin crony, Oleg Deripaska. The three companies are Eurosibenergo, UC Rusal, and the EN Plus group, like EN plus sign group. Deripaska is not just a Putin crony. He's actually said that he doesn't even really see himself as separate from the Russian state for the purposes of a lot of international discussions and sort of frameworks. And he's also represented the Russian government in other countries. So this is a guy who is not the Russian government, but is almost like the Russian government. There are members of both the Republican and Democratic parties who were against easing sanctions on these three companies. But the Trump administration insisted they're doing this. They're dropping these sanctions, more favoritism towards Russia. Not a big surprise in and of itself. But now this particular deal is even more rancid and putrid because right after sanctions were lifted, one of those three companies I mentioned, EN Plus, said, hey, we're adding 7 new directors to our board. And one of those 7 new directors happens to be, total coincidence, Christopher Bancroft Burnham, who just happens to have been a member of Donald Trump's transition team. The world population, roughly 7.5 billion. The number of companies on our planet, I mean, depends on how you measure and what you include, but one estimate is that there are 200 million companies on planet Earth. And it just so happens that days after the Trump administration dropped sanctions on 3 Russian companies, one of those 3 companies hires a Trump transition team member to be on their board. When this happens, it tells Vladimir Putin, keep interfering, keep doing what you're doing because you're winning bigly with your strategy. And at this point, I don't even know if it's worth me saying it's possible that this is just a coincidence. Like, is that necessary, or is it pretty damn clear that this simply is not a coincidence at this point? And it actually gets even more insane with this guy because Burnham also is a former vice chairman at Deutsche Bank Asset Management and co-founded and led Deutsche Bank's direct private equity group, which now we know is number one. Deutsche Bank is connected to Trump. Records from Deutsche Bank were subpoenaed by Robert Mueller. And this is also connected to former Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy through his son. Remember when we announced the retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy? And we told you at the time that it came as a surprise even to the other Supreme Court justices, which is unusual. Usually before a public announcement is made, a Supreme Court justice will tell their colleagues that they plan to announce their retirement. And then we found out, by the way, that Anthony Kennedy's son was connected to Deutsche Bank, which is an issue of significant concern to Donald Trump right now, vis-a-vis the Trump-Russia probe being carried out by Robert Mueller. So these could all just be coincidences, but it appears to stink beyond belief. It's the putrid kleptocracy that we've been talking about now for many years, and there has never been more swamp filling. This could be normal pay-to-play, normal. This could be standard quid pro quo, call it what you want. We see it for what it is, but it's even worse because of the connections that this has in particular to Donald Trump and to Russia. And we may never really learn the full scope of it. That's the most disappointing and disturbing part. Let me know what you think. Could this just be a coincidence? I'm on Twitter at @dpakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Viewers and listeners of the David Pakman Show with a dog or cat at home, you should check out one of our new sponsors called Pet Box, which is a subscription box that sends you premium treats and toys for your dog or cat every month. You can get 50% off your first box when you click the link under this video and use the coupon code Pakman. All you have to do is tell them what kind of pet you have. You tell them how big your pet is, and every month you'll get a new box filled with a variety of the latest and greatest high-quality pet snacks and toys made mostly by small family-owned businesses. It also makes a really great gift for someone else in your life who has a pet. I just got the dog box for Nemo the English Lab, my dad's dog, who my Instagram followers are maybe already acquainted with. Got a bunch of really cool stuff, including pterodactyl treats and a chew jerky type thing. You can tell I don't have a dog. also a squeeze toy. And the coolest thing about Petbox is that they give 10% of the proceeds to a nonprofit called Tender Loving Canines, which does really good things. Number one, they provide service dogs to people with autism. Number two, they provide service dogs for veterans who have PTSD. So your pet is getting an array of fun things to play with and snack on every month, but you're also contributing to a really good cause. And as I mentioned, you can get half off of that first box when you click the link underneath this video and use the coupon code Pakman. That's Pakman.